Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. It's springtime in Greater West Bloomfield, but residents and officials are already looking ahead towards the summer and the many fun community events that come with it. One of which is the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show, which just announced their return dates for 2025. Here to tell us more is our very own Kevin McIntosh, live at the soon-to-be housing spot for the art show. Kevin.
That's right, Jay. I am live and outside here in West Bloomfield, right off of Powers Road. If you don't know where this is, just south of Maple and west of Orchard Lake, where in just a few months, it was just announced the 2025 Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show will take place right here on this street behind us. Now, in case you don't know, it is exactly what it sounds like. Plenty of art will be there, food will be there, and there'll be a lot of family fun available in West Bloomfield. Now, just to paint the picture for you, you're watching on Civic Center TV, this was ranked amongst the top 100 art shows in the entire country. That gives you something to look forward to. It also features up to 130 juried artists as well. And there'll be some juried artists and art professionals who will be judging this art as well. Like I said, once again, a lot to look forward to. There's also a $250 youth art competition as well, trying to get the kids involved, K through 12, to submit their art and have a little bit of fun. Once again, live music, activities, food, and plenty of art available at the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show, which will be taking place in July right here on Powers Road, right behind us. You want to find out more? If you're interested as an artist or as a spectator, go directly to the website, hotworks.org, HOTWORKS.org for more information. Looking forward to it. Warming up out here in July for the summertime for the Fine Arts Show. Jake?
Absolutely. Everybody's looking forward to it. Everyone's looking forward to that warm weather and all of the incredible art at the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show. Kevin, thank you so much for that report. Let's get you back inside. I know you're freezing out there.
I will. Have a good one, Jake.
You too. All great things to come from the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show. You probably saw some footage on our screen just a little bit ago. That was footage from last year's art show that myself and Tyler Keefe attended. We saw all of these incredible artists, all of these vendors, so many beautiful pieces of work right here in Greater West Bloomfield, and I can't wait to see what's to come from this year's event. It's going to be bigger and so much better. Just down Orchard Lake Road at Collie Ferrari, the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce recently hosted a special event focused on innovation and entrepreneurship. The Business Innovation Generator, making its grand return to Greater West Bloomfield after a hiatus due to COVID. Several business owners stopped by to form those ever-important bonds and connections, and I was there to capture all of the magic and to learn more about how this initiative is driving business success in our community.
It's a lot of opportunity, it's a lot of growth, and it is a chance to, get where you're going, even if you're starting from the bottom or you're already at the top. So it's just a lot of opportunity just to get anywhere you're trying to be, especially for me. I'm just starting in this role, but of course I've been around other businesses networking already, so it's kind of just like a chance to get back to those and then of course, integrate what you're doing now.
We just opened up a new business called Gray's Craze on Orchard Lake Road, and we decided to join the Chamber of Commerce just to kind of outreach to the community and meet some new people, new business owners, new people in the area. And this was the first event. We just opened 2 weeks ago, so this was the first event that came in, and we wanted to show up and be here. We've got to meet a ton of people and great, awesome people, and get our name out there. Let people try some of our food, and it's been great.
It's been an absolutely fabulous night. The Collies did a great job putting this on in this beautiful venue. But what I saw was a lot of very passionate business owners connecting today, and that was a really special thing to be a part of. West Bloomfield has probably been the most civically active community I've ever been a part of. We've been welcomed in with open arms, and we're just very grateful that we get to be a part of everything that's going on here. Because wow, what a room full of amazing people.
What is it that West Bloomfield has that's different from the other communities you've been a part of?
It's the activity. There are so many hardworking people here who just care. The amount of sacrifice and service that I've seen going on from people from one to another has been absolutely amazing. It's just a community that really cares, which is pretty rare nowadays.
Listen, it takes the left hand and the right hand to come together to be stronger, because if they're not unified, then it just makes a better bond. And what I saw here tonight was truly a connector. I'm telling you, the people were just raving about the event tonight, and they cannot wait for the next one.
Everything's about relationships and meeting people and then opportunities that come from it. So, just by being involved in events like this, it usually ends up generating business in one way or another.
You gave a great speech tonight talking to everybody here about your history. What do you hope are some of the biggest things everybody takes away?
I think in my case, it was that to follow your passion. And it's the old saying, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And when you follow your passion and keep going in that direction and hard work, opportunities present themselves, and you try to always have yourself in a position where you can take advantage of them. And it's worked out very well in my life, and you got to have passion for what you're doing in life, always.
The BIG event proved to be a valuable opportunity for networking, learning, and sparking new ideas for local entrepreneurs. With innovation at the heart of the West Bloomfield business community, events like this continue to support growth and success. Head over to westbloomfieldchamber.com to learn more information on the Business Innovation Generator and to look for updates on when their next event will be. Civic Center TV's celebration of 40 years of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission and 89.3 Lakes FM continues. All month long, you will be seeing some of your favorite programs from throughout the years replaying on TV and on the radio. Arguably the most popular Civic Center TVs on YouTube is A Minute with Nature, a program produced in partnership with West Bloomfield Parks. West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Commission Chairperson Robert Brooks introduces one of your favorite episodes of the show in this Civic Center TV classic.
Hello, and welcome to Civic Center TV Classics. I'm West Bloomfield resident and Parks and Recreation Commission Chairperson Robert Brooks. I invite you to join in as Civic Center TV celebrates 40 years of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission. As the chair of the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Commission, I know how much Greater West Bloomfield loves its local nature and wildlife. Highlighted in one of Civic Center TV's most popular programs ever, A Minute with Nature, where Lauren Azori talks about some of what makes the nature of our community so special. Let's enjoy one of your favorite segments.
welcome to Minute with Nature. I'm your host, Lauren Azuri, the park naturalist for West Bloomfield Parks. And today we're here inside our nature room talking about native plants and why you might want to plant some native plants in your garden as well. Well, what is a native plant? A native plant is a plant that has evolved here in our area, and it's adapted to the climate and soil here. A native plant has grown in Michigan, or their native area, for hundreds of thousands of years, so have developed ecological relationships with the animals in our area as well. Why would you want to plant native plants in your yard? Well, there's lots of reasons, but one is convenience. Native plants grow better in Michigan. They don't require fertilizer or pesticides, as well as less watering. Since they're from here and they're used to the conditions here, you don't need to add as much water or fertilizer to the soil that they're growing in your garden, so they're lower maintenance. 90% of all leaf-eating insects can only eat native plants, which means that it's super important for us to provide food sources for them. If we plant non-natives tropical plants, they have no ecological value and animals will not use them at all. Monarchs is the best example of this that many people already are familiar with. Monarchs love milkweed. And their milkweed is the only plant that a monarch caterpillar will eat, and is also the only plant that monarch adults will lay their eggs on. Butterflies are beautiful to view, but butterflies are also pollinators. So pollinators obviously help our world and bring us a lot of the food that we eat. I bet you're wondering maybe now where you can buy native plants from. We don't really recommend that you go to a commercial greenhouse for them. A lot of commercial greenhouses have hybrids of native plants, or they're the same species of a plant that might grow here, but they didn't come from Michigan originally. So you really would ideally love a native plant that was grown in Michigan and the seeds started in Michigan. So look for a local native grower. Here at West Bloomfield Parks, we partner with a native grower and offer a native plant sale in May. So you can visit us there for a great source of buying native plants as well. You can also go to the Audubon website, and they have a great map where you can list your zip code and get native plant ideas for our area. Here in Michigan, some great, beautiful flowers that you'll enjoy in your garden, and so will all those pollinators like butterflies, are asters, coneflowers, milkweed, and black-eyed Susans. So I hope you plant some natives, attract some wildlife for you to view, but also help your environment. And that's your Minute with Nature.
The celebration of 40 years of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission continues online. Follow along on social media and enjoy television that's close to home online on civiccentertv.com. I'm Robert Brooks. Thank you for tuning in.
As Lauren Azuri mentioned in that segment, West Bloomfield Parks hosts a native plant sale every year to help you help the environment and your garden too. This year's sale is coming up, so mark your calendars for Saturday, May 17th from 9 a.m. to 12 o'clock noon at Marshbank Park for pickup. Pre-orders begin on wbparks.org on May 10th. The celebration of 40 years of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission continues all month long on civiccentertv.com and all across our social media. Let us know your favorite shows from over the years, and maybe we'll toss them into the mix as well. Applications are open for scholarships ranging from $500 to $1,500 from the Optimist Club of Keego Harbor. Applications are due by May 16th on their website at KeegoHarborOptimist.org/scholarship. Kids applying must be Keego Harbor residents or be working in Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, or Orchard Lake. Again, plenty of more information is available on KeegoHarborOptimist.org/scholarship. One of the recurring fundraisers for Keego Optimists is their monthly euchre tournament. However, due to an illness with one of the organizers, this month's event scheduled for tonight at Gino's has been canceled. Contacts with the Optimists will say that they will announce more upcoming fundraisers very, very soon. One of the biggest talking points throughout the Greater West Bloomfield community, as well as Oakland County as a whole, is Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter's State of the County address that took place back in March, where Executive Coulter went over the many plans and initiatives he has in store for Oakland County and its citizens. I recently had the chance to speak with him right here on the Splash Live to find out more about his vision for the county. Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter joining us right now on The Splash. Dave, very happy to have you with us today.
Hey, always great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Always love talking to you. We spoke a little bit at the event just a couple days ago, and now we want to get into a little bit more talk about how this is going to be affecting cities like West Bloomfield. And reflecting on the progress that you've made since your last State of the County address, what achievements since then are you the most proud of, and what lessons have you learned that are going to inform, that are going to help shape some of these new initiatives?
Oh gosh, that's a great question, because I'm proud of a lot of the work that we're doing. I talked the other night, like you said, at the Berman Center in West Bloomfield about the way that we're leaning in to help our small businesses. I'm really proud of the fact that we have doubled down on our support for our entrepreneurs, our small businesses. You know, Oakland County is a wealthy county, and sometimes we're known for things like being the headquarters of, Stellantis and General Motors Orion, but it's our small businesses that really drive the economy here. It's over 90% of our businesses are small. And so we've done a lot through our Oakland Thrive program to lift up and support the needs of our small businesses, whether it's for marketing or for capital or website design. Whatever a small business needs, we're trying to be there to lift them up and to support them. And I'm really proud of that.
You should be. We've had Oakland Thrive on our show very, very recently. They talked about all the work that they have done to help West Bloomfield businesses. They're going to be having an event in just a couple weeks to honor some of those businesses. How have you seen things in West Bloomfield specifically improve so much when it comes to small businesses?
Oh my gosh, this has been a successful area anyway, right? But one of the things I wanted to talk about in the speech, and the speech was a little different than some of my other ones, where I just sort of tick off accomplishments, because what I said was, West Bloomfield Township, Birmingham, the areas that you cover, they're successful, but we need to be mindful of the environment that we're in today, the polarized environment that we're in today, the changes that we're seeing as a country, and I think we need to lean in. One of the things I talked about in this speech was to stretch, to do more in areas that help lift everybody up, because it's not enough that just some people are doing well. It's important that we all do well and that we're in this together. And so I'm really proud to have given this speech in West Bloomfield. I'm really proud of the work that's been done there. West Bloomfield Supervisor Jonathan Wershay, my former neighbor, actually was the MC of our event. I'm so proud of the work that's done here. But we have an obligation as a people and as a county to make sure that everybody gets lifted up and that we get past this polarization, the chaos that we sometimes feel in this country and even in our own county and community, and put what I said, progress over politics, progress over chaos. And that was really the theme of this speech.
That's a great message for everyone to keep into mind. Progress over politics. And another one of the big things you've talked about is the expansion of public transit into more areas of Oakland County. Are there plans to enhance transit options in and around West Bloomfield to improve accessibility for residents and businesses?
There are. And, I talked about that a little bit as well. So the first thing we have to do is we need more buses and more riders, right? We need, shorter hours, shorter time to get to public transit, make it easier. And so just in the last 2 years, we've hired more than 400 new drivers to make the transit more accessible for folks, right? And then the important thing is to make it so that you can go to more places. So when you leave the West Bloomfield area, you can get to Rochester Hills or Novi if that's where your job is or if that's where you need to go. So we've increased, for instance, Novi. The ridership to Novi is up 76% since the millage. And that's because there's a shorter wait time, there's more buses, there's more drivers, it's inexpensive, $2 a ride anywhere you want to go in Oakland County. So we're continuing to build out that network of places that you can go and the wait time that it takes to get there.
That's amazing. So many great resources for everyone here in West Bloomfield and beyond. And public safety, I know, is a very top priority for a lot of West Bloomfield residents. How does the county plan to collaborate with things like local law enforcement and emergency services to continue to ensure the safety of the community?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the reasons people live in West Bloomfield and Oakland County is because it's a safe place to live and to raise your family. One of the ways that the county has helped support our sheriff's department is through mental health services. You know, a lot of the calls that our police officers go on are related to substance abuse and mental health. And you know what? It's just not fair. They're not trained in that. So we now have a co-responder program so that if an officer is out there dealing with someone and he or she realizes that this is really a mental health or a substance abuse issue, they can call our team of co-responders who can help diffuse that situation, de-escalate it, and get those people into the treatment or hospital instead of the jails. And it takes the burden off of our first responders, and it keeps more of those types of folks who are having those issues out of our jails. So that's one way that the county has really tried to support our law enforcement over the last couple of years.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter joining us right now to talk about his recent State of the County address and how a lot of these changes and proposed changes are going to be affecting cities like Greater West Bloomfield. And West Bloomfield has a very diverse population. And how does your administration plan to ensure that county programs like Oakland 80 and mental health services effectively reach and support this diverse community?
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because ever since I've been executive, I've tried to lift up the fact that this is a very diverse county. We have people from all over the world here. And the fact of the matter is the population in Oakland County would not have grown over the last 10 years if it weren't for our immigrant population. We need them, they fuel our growth, and they make our communities better. So I talked about the need to make sure that everyone in our county feels welcome, they feel safe, they feel valued, and that we respect them. And so what we're trying to do at the county is to make sure that all of the programs that we offer, all of the services that we provide are accessible to everyone. And that means not just putting it on the website and just assuming that everybody can find it. We're working in the communities and in diverse communities to make sure that we're reaching them where they're at in a way that's accessible to them so that they understand that these programs and services exist. We value them, and we want them to take advantage of it.
That's amazing. And a lot of people all around the West Bloomfield community are very excited about some of these programs. And I want to go into the West Bloomfield School District for a minute, because like many others, it faces challenges related to enrollment and funding. How can the county support local schools in preparing students for the workforce and higher education opportunities?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, because it's important, and sometimes people say, well, county government isn't a school district. It isn't schools. But our schools are so important to a successful community and a successful family life, right? And so we can't ignore it. One of the things that we're launching, that we just launched this last year, is we're putting education navigators, county-funded education navigators in our high schools so that we can expose our young people to the jobs, the apprenticeships, and the education opportunities that are available to them. Hey, it's hard to be a student these days. There's a lot going on. And so what we're trying to do through our Oakland 80 initiative, which is to get more of our young people and adults with some kind of post-high school education or training, is we're now embedding them right in our high schools. We're talking to our kids right where they are and saying, look, these are the high in demand jobs. What are your passions? What are you passionate about? Where are your talents and skills? Let's see if we can align those so that we can help you get the career that you want, and also help our businesses get the employees that they want. And so we're really doubling down on trying to expose our kids to the jobs that are out there.
That's great that you have all these resources, and you're absolutely right. There are a lot of differences now for high school students than there were back when I was in high school, which wasn't too long ago, but a lot of great things for people to keep an eye on. And
a lot longer than when I was there, I'll just say. So I guess the bottom line, and I love that you said that, is times have changed, things are different, and government needs to be flexible, and it needs to change with the times. And so it used to be that, you could just put out a program and people would find it, or you would hope. But we know now that the struggles for young people and for everybody, frankly, are different. And I think it's one of the things I tried to highlight in this speech is that government needs to stretch and adapt to meet the times that we're in. And I think that's what we're trying to do in Oakland County. I hope we're doing it well.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job with everything you're doing. I got one more question for you, Dave, before we let you go. What specific benefits from the county's economic development strategies do you see impacting West Bloomfield within the next few years?
Yeah, so we are constantly trying to bring the right mix of companies and jobs to Oakland County, so that our residents have an ability to have a good life, to have a good job, to work for a good company. And so, I've gone on a couple of different trade missions around the world. I've been to Dubai and South Korea, luring those companies back to bring those good paying jobs to Oakland County. But I want to make this point. These jobs aren't just for the benefit of the companies. I feel passionately that we're not just trying to bring jobs here, but good jobs. Jobs that you can feel excited about, you can be passionate about, and that pay a good wage, so that you can have a good life and you can raise your family on a good salary. And so that's what we're laser focused on, to bring the people of West Bloomfield and people across the county good paying jobs that they can raise a family on and have a decent life here in Oakland County.
Well, you are doing all the right things. You got a lot of plans in place. Can't wait to see how everything turns out. Executive Coulter, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Big thank you to Dave Coulter for taking the time out of his busy schedule and to talking with us here on the Splash Live. It was really fascinating to be at that State of the County address firsthand, to hear the thoughts from everybody and to hear Dave Coulter's plans for the future. It definitely provided a lot of hope to a lot of people, and I can't wait to see what's to come in the future and as these plans continue to go into fruition. So once again, I want to say a huge thank you to Dave Coulter for talking with us here on the Splash Live. Plenty of other big stories and topics to get into right here on The Splash right after this quick commercial break. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click Schedule at the top of the screen.
The Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission celebrates 4 decades of service with a look back at some of your favorite Civic Center TV programs from throughout the years.
When you realize that your house is on fire, you need to get out of the building as fast as you can.
We've got active fire on the first floor. Our crew's putting a ladder right now.
It was a rescue call, and all of our minds were to rescuing the person trapped.
As I was leaving them, I very flippantly said to them, "Oh, I hope I don't get blown away by a tornado."
On the corner where Savoy Trail and Green Road now intersect, a 20 by 34-foot one-room schoolhouse would be built.
One of the biggest things we do in reaching out is our fire safety smokehouse. We've got a dedicated crew of guys that go to the schools and get out as much as we can.
Hello and welcome to Minute with Nature. I'm your host, Lauren Azuri. We're outside our nature room today talking about endothermic and ectothermic animals, or more commonly known as warm-blooded and cold-blooded animals.
West Bloomfield Township, a diverse community of people who live in harmony. There's beauty around every corner, on every street. There's character in each brick and shingle, and there's a history that runs strong in the veins of this community.
Join us throughout April for Civic Center TV Classics on Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99, and online on civiccentertv.com. And help us celebrate 40 years of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Baseball season has arrived in West Bloomfield, and as the Detroit Tigers have been continuing to build their momentum from last year's incredible run, the West Bloomfield Lakers baseball team is looking to capture that same fire right here in the community. I recently had the chance to attend one of their practice sessions to learn about why the sport of baseball is so important for these players.
I'm really excited. Playing that first game before spring break got the boys pumped up, especially a walk-off win like we had. It was really fun to be back out here on the field playing baseball again. Especially being our senior year, we haven't won districts yet, the group. So that's the biggest goal here is win districts and then hopefully make a run in the playoffs.
What is it about the sport of baseball that has gotten your attention and that has gotten you so motivated to be a part of this team?
I would say kind of the fact that it's both a team game and an individual game. Your individual success helps contribute to the team success, and you're with your teammates. You're all fighting together for one common goal, so I love that aspect of the game. This is a team, I think we have 13, 14 seniors, so we've all grown together throughout the past 4 years. I really think we have something special here, and we're going to be able to make a run in the tournament. So we've all grown together, and I'm really excited for this year.
My whole family plays baseball. My dad played at Central Michigan. My brother plays at Michigan State right now, and I've just played baseball since I was 5 years old, and I've had a love for the game for a while now. All 3 years that I've been here, we've been very good, and it's been a blessing being here and winning a lot of games and having fun.
What is it about the sport of baseball that fascinates you more than any other sport?
It's such a game of failure. It's really going to test you mentally and physically, and the strong ones are the ones that are able to survive. And I love being a part of it every day and the competitive atmosphere that it brings out of every single coach and every single player. Every year has been exciting. We've been lucky to have really good players and really good kids, and this is another team that has both those components, and we're looking to do some really special things this year. So yeah, we're excited to say the least.
And of course, with Tiger season officially underway right here in Michigan, that's just even more of a reason for everybody to get excited for the sport of baseball right now, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, absolutely. The Tigers gave us a lot of fun times last year, and a lot of people have jumped back on the bandwagon, so to say, and to see it develop and get more fan base going and the hype going, it's nice to see. It really is.
What do you have to say about your relationship with Coach Bernberg?
Coach Josh, I've known him. My brother played here. I was still in middle school. So Josh, I've known him for a while. He was a basketball coach in 7th grade for me. Played for his summer team last year, so I've had a good relationship with him.
We got a lot of guys heading to the next level to play, all kids that have really been playing for me for the last 3 or 4 years. So really cool to see their growth throughout the program and them to be little kids coming in basically and now grown men for the most part. So exciting to see how much their journey has been just a phenomenal experience for them here and how much we have to look forward to for what they're going to do at the next level and beyond. It's honoring and humbling for me to have a real small part in the success that these kids have and to watch them go through their journey and see where they came from and where they're at now. So like I said, I'm honored, I'm humbled, I'm blessed to be around them every single day, and I'm going to cherish and love every single moment that this season brings.
Being there at that practice session, I could see the passion and the drive radiating from every single one of those players and the coaches themselves. They really, truly care about the sport of baseball, and they want to bring something big home for the West Bloomfield community. So big thank you to Coach Josh Bernberg and the West Bloomfield Lakers baseball team for allowing me to stop by and hear their thoughts on why the sport of baseball is so important to all of them. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 26th, as that is Drug Take-Back Day here in West Bloomfield, where you and fellow residents can safely remove potential harmful substances from your homes in a proper manner. Joining us now on the Splash Live to tell us more is Officer Zena Daly with the West Bloomfield Police Department. Zena, good morning.
Good morning, Jake. How are you?
Really good. Always a pleasure to have you on the show with us. Can you explain what National Drug Take-Back Day is and why it's so important for communities like West Bloomfield?
The DEA holds this National Take-Back Day twice a year. It's usually in April. This year it's April 26th from 10 to 2 p.m. and again in October. This is basically because we want to be able to get pills out of people's homes that they no longer use or they've expired, they just don't need, and keep them out of the hands of the children or people that just don't need them or people that abuse them.
That's right. It's a proper way to help get rid of those medications that are just taking up clutter in your medicine cabinets and that you don't really want lying around. You don't want people taking a hold of them and doing something with them that could be potentially very harmful. So what types of medications can be dropped off during the event? And are there any restrictions residents should be made aware of?
Well, we take everything except for liquids and syringes. We do not accept those. And not only do we do this here with the DEA twice a year, but at our police department, and I believe Orchard Lake as well, and there's many other departments that have collection sites. You can bring them any day of the year, anytime. We have a drop box in our lobby, and you can dispose of all of your medication there. Again, same thing, no liquids and no syringes. There's also boxes, I believe, at CVS and Walgreens locations near their pharmacies where you can dispose of the medications.
Awesome. Lots of great ways for everybody to properly dispose of those medications. And what role would you say does the West Bloomfield Police Department play in coordinating and overseeing this initiative?
Well, we have an officer that works with the DEA task force, so he's a part of that. And like I said, we not only, even if he wasn't in that unit, we have worked with them for years where we are a collection site. And across the state, there's actually 272 agencies that participate in this National Take Back Day, and with 201 actual collection locations. And I will tell you, for last year in October, they accumulated for both the April and October collection days, they had 314 tons collected.
Oh, wow.
So again, keeping, it's just a convenient way, even though we do take it all year round, it's just a convenient way. It's, it's more advertised so people are aware that it's there. But I mean, it's definitely worthwhile. If you have that extra medication lying around, you don't want it, you don't know what to do with it, you don't want to flush it, it's just a safe way to get rid of it.
Wow, over 300 tons of these medications. That's truly something that showcases just how impactful something like this is. And how has participation in previous drug take-back days impacted public safety and awareness in the West Bloomfield community?
Oh, I mean, think about it. If we're collecting 300 and 14 tons of medication just in the state, like imagine just West Bloomfield. And you don't even have to live in West Bloomfield to dispose of it. Really, it's anyone from any community can come here and dispose, and any collection site. If any other departments they have it, which there are others that do collect all year round, it's just a safe way to get rid of it. You're keeping it out of the hands of the kids, and you'll hear a lot from the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition organization, where they're constantly trying to advertise, hey, let's get rid of the medication. Let's keep it out of the hands of the children. We don't want them in our schools. We don't want kids getting them and selling them. So it's just a safe way to do it. And we're all about trying to get them out of the schools and out of the hands of kids, and not just the kids, but just users that don't, need to stay away from these medications.
And this is a very important way to help make sure that these drugs do stay out of kids' hands. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have police officer with the West Bloomfield Police Department, Zena Daly, joining us right now on the Splash to talk about the upcoming Drug Take-Back Day that's going to be taking place right here in West Bloomfield on Saturday, April 26th. Now, how does safely disposing of medications help prevent misuse, especially among teens and young adults?
Well, obviously, for keeping around the house, it's easy to get to. You go to the medicine cabinet, you have friends that come over, your kids go to other people's homes, they check the medicine cabinets, and they have easy access to it.
That's right. Lots of easy access in ways people might not realize. Like, even if you think you have them tucked away in a very safe spot, kids could snoop around. They could look in places
and they do. Yeah.
They absolutely do. They could look in places you don't expect them to, and then they could end up with something they should not be having. So why is it important to educate the public not only about prescription drug misuse, but also about environmental impacts of improper disposal?
Well, because exactly what you said, right? You don't want to flush it down the toilet, and now it's in our waters. It's in our earth, right? So we want to make sure that we're taking care of it safely.
That's right. All very important things to keep in mind. And What advice, Zena, do you have for families who may have unused or expired medications at home, but aren't sure what to do with them year-round?
Well, like I said, we have a box in our lobby 24 hours a day, all year round. Come by, drop it off. We have our public service aides at the front desk. They will help you if there's something that you're not sure if you can dispose of or not. Like I said, no liquids, no syringes. They'll take the bag from you, or you could throw it right into the box yourself. And I also want to add that the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition also did receive these from Oakland County. There are these lock boxes that are meant to store your medication. If you do have medication that you're keeping because you need them, obviously, but you want to find a safe way to store them, they have these convenient lock boxes. They are free, and we have them at the police department to pick up if you would like. They're pretty good size, and they have a lock where you can see right here. And not only that, but they also have lock bags. So you can come by and grab one of each or one or the other. It's up to you. But these are for medications that you do need at home, but you want to be able to make sure your kids don't get to it or no one else gets to it that's not supposed to.
That's right. Those are great resources to hang on to those medications that are very important, that you don't want to end up in the hands of someone who doesn't need them.
Right.
And with things like this, the Drug Take Back event in West Bloomfield, how can residents continue supporting drug safety initiatives beyond just this event?
By talking about it and letting other people know. Word of mouth is always the best. You know someone that does have medication they need to get rid of, and they are holding on to it, not aware of that we have these boxes. Educate them, let them know that they can bring it here. They can drop it off anytime they want, not just on the National DEA Take Back Day.
All great information. Zena, I got one more quick question for you before we let you go. Where can people in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond go to learn a little bit more information about the Drug Take Back Day, should they have some more questions?
You can go on our Facebook or Instagram pages. We'll have information on that, as well as the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition page. They have it advertised as well.
All great ways to stay informed and to stay up to date on this great resource to help get rid of those drugs and expired drugs in your household. Right. Zena, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
Have a great day.
You too. Very important date for everyone to keep in mind, April 26th. That is a Saturday. That is when you can stop by the West Bloomfield Police Department to dispose of those drugs in your household. So we really appreciate Zena coming by and telling us more information about Drug Take Back Day. Detroit to Nepal Foundation is continuing on their overseas mission. The organization was established in 2010 with the mission to provide sustainable support to grassroots, community-based programs in Detroit neighborhoods and remote villages in Nepal. Dr. Richard Kaiden, the co-founder of Detroit to Nepal, was recently on The Splash Live, and I was able to learn more about their incredible mission that they're doing overseas. It's such a cool thing what you're doing in helping all of these people out in Nepal. Can you give us some of the latest construction updates that have been taking place in Nepal recently?
Sure. The most recent work is following the 2023 earthquake that had the epicenter in Jadrakot in western Nepal. And for the first 14 years, we've been working pretty much exclusively in Kotang in eastern Nepal, but because of this very devastating earthquake, we shifted over there. And for the first year, just provided emergency relief, responding to the villages. They would communicate with us what they needed just to survive the winter. They had no homes, no food, no supplies. So it's just a matter of sending them tarps and tents and blankets and food and medicine and any emergency resources. People that were injured were evacuated. Pregnant women were brought down for care. Children that were rendered orphans because of the earthquake were brought down to one of my colleagues who runs Kapila Children's Home for orphans and a very nice school. So we were very busy the first year just with emergency relief trying to get them through. Now that things have kind of settled down from the acute phase, we've asked them what their priorities are, and they've been schools and homes. So we are working with our ground partner, Build Up Nepal, building earthquake-resistant schools and homes. The communities learn how to use compressed sustainable earth bricks, which is a very eco-friendly way to build with earthquake-resistant technique. The eco bricks are made from either sand and soil or crushed stone, and they're made on site by the locals. So we train masons to make the bricks on site. You can see a picture there of they look like Legos. And interestingly enough, about 37% of the air pollution in Nepal is from firing bricks. So just in and by itself, you're preventing a lot of pollution, plus you're using local resources, both the materials as well as the manpower to make these bricks. They're then put together with technology that is earthquake resistant with cement and rebar. It's a time-proven technology. And basically the communities learn how to make the bricks and use this technology while building a community building like the school. And then they form a micro enterprise. They buy the equipment needed, which is about $5,000 or $6,000 for all the supplies they need to partake in this construction. They form their micro enterprise, and then they're responsible for building homes. And again, using the same earthquake resistant technique. And the government is giving each household that was destroyed $3,200 towards this effort, and a two-room home, which is earthquake resistant, costs about $5,600. The other $2,400 is a lot of that is manpower, transport, local supplies. So it's not all just cash. So the locals, for the vast majority, can come up with the extra money. And then instead of building a stone and mud mortar home again, which will collapse and potentially take lives with the next earthquake, you've got an earthquake resistant home. And with this technique, it's allowing us just to teach them the technology. And once they learn the technology and form the micro enterprises, they'll be monitoring for this supervision to make sure that everything's being done as up to code and as well as possible.
Wow, that is a lot of incredible things that you were doing over in Nepal, and it's fascinating to hear about the measures that you're taking. You talked about the earthquake-resistant materials that you're using to help build these buildings so that hopefully history does not repeat itself. So that is great to hear of everything that you're doing. But I would imagine that all of this work that you're doing out in Nepal, I'd imagine that it isn't easy. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've dealt with in the work that you've done in Nepal since the 2023 earthquake?
Well, the biggest challenge probably is just the remoteness of these villages. We're not working in urban areas, and just to get to these sites is quite problematic. Now, I've been going to Nepal since 1983, but we started the nonprofit 15 years ago, and just in the last 15 years, a lot of things have changed where there are roads which are basically can accommodate trailers, tractors, and very rugged vehicles, because before, even 15 years ago, everything was taken in by either human or pack animals. So it was very, very complicated. So the remoteness is getting a little easier to tackle, but still getting supplies to these remote areas is quite challenging.
You just touched on something. You said that you've been going to Nepal, I believe you said since the early 80s. And I'm curious, what motivates you personally to continue leading and expanding the D2N Foundation?
Well, I first went to Nepal like most people. They go for the Himalayas to climb. And I was an outdoor guy when I was younger. I still enjoy the outdoors. So I went there purely for selfish reasons. But after a while, as things evolved, I had the opportunities to form a nonprofit, which is really a privilege to work with these individuals. The Nepalese are great people, great families. They're motivated. They're very industrious. You give them opportunities and they'll take them. Again, we're not doing a lot of the construction. We're doing the education and monitoring. So they're taking all this upon themselves. We're working right now in 20 sites. In all these 20 sites, there'll be micro enterprises forming, and they'll be in charge of the building, again, with supervision. But again, it's on them, and they're very, very capable and very excited to take this work on. We expect just with this initial investment at these 20 sites, we'll have at least 1,250 homes being built. I sent you some pictures of some of those sample homes, and that's for an initial investment this year of $125,000. So if you do the math, that's costing $100 is going to result in having an earthquake-resistant home like you see there, which is going to stand up to the next earthquake and be very resilient and very much appreciated. So you always want to have impact when you're looking for charities and ways to carry out your philanthropic ideas. But this is something where, again, literally $100 will eventuate in having a home like this built for a family. And over the next 6 to 7 years, this is going to spill over to another 40 micro enterprises probably being formed in these same 20 areas, 20 villages. So we'll see, based on prior results after the 2015 earthquake, probably over 4,000 homes being built for a total investment of about $300,000. So that's about $75 resulting in a home, in a safe home. So, this is very, very impactful. We're very excited, and it's a privilege to be able to do things like this.
You should be very excited. For those just joining us right now on The Splash, we have co-founder of the Detroit to Nepal Foundation, Dr. Richard Kaiden, joining us right now to talk about the foundation's work overseas in Nepal, building homes and schools and all sorts of other buildings as a result of the 2023 earthquake, helping the community get back to what it was. And you guys are always looking for donations to help the foundation and to help continue to continue everything that you're doing out in Nepal. Tell us a little bit on how people can get involved with this foundation.
Sure. Well, again, as you mentioned, it costs funds, and it's amazing the impact we can with relatively modest funds, but still it costs funds. And people can go to our website, detroittonepal.org, and donate right on the website. Right now, I'm doing a birthday fundraiser for my 70th birthday in 2 weeks. And I'm going to match everyone's donation for the first $10,000, so we can double your impact. And $100 donation will result in 2 homes being built. So, we just need money. We do not need actual, humans to volunteer over in Nepal. We've always had the philosophy that the Nepalese are very capable, and 100% of the work is being carried out by them. So, again, we need your dollars. We appreciate your dollars, and the only way we can do this work is with your support.
I'm so glad you just mentioned something. You talked about the event that you're doing throughout your birthday month for your 70th birthday to match the donations of what people are donating. Could you talk a little bit about how that idea came to be?
Well, every year I do a birthday match to try to help, motivate people. And again, what I do is I ask people for money all the time. And, you've got to get skin in the game yourself. I can't ask people for money without putting my own money into this as well. As a rule, I put in 10% personal money for any of our projects. So I'm very much involved. And, when I go to Nepal, I pay for my plane ticket, I pay for my hotels, I pay for transportation over there. So I want people to know that when they give $1 to Detroit to Nepal, it goes to the work, whether the work is in Detroit or in Nepal. And, I want you to know you're getting a bang for your buck, and I'm in it with you.
That's great. I love hearing about that because it shows how much you care about this foundation by setting that example and by putting in that money yourself. And Richard, with all of the work that you do in Nepal and all the times you've been there, could you possibly share a personal story of a student or a family that's positively been impacted by Detroit to Nepal's efforts?
There's so many stories. I can't really think of one individual, but the thing that all the work we do, first of all, is responding to priorities that they identify, not that we identify. And when we started working, just for an example, we started with just going in there. I was on an advisory board for a medical school at the time in the Kathmandu Valley, and I went to this village area with a medical student and a public health expert just to do some assessments of what's up. And we soon learned that all the water taps, even though these were Himalayan springs that where the water was originating from, all these were contaminated with fecal coliforms, which is essentially the from your stool. And And so when I went back 3 months later, they said, Dr. Richard, we want toilets. So they were able to identify, without me saying anything, that they wanted to prioritize toilets, realizing that it's one thing when you can treat infections, but if you can prevent infections, it's much more effective. So again, it's not an individual story of one person, but it's really of them collectively. They are intelligent, they understand their needs, they know what they need for themselves and their children more than I could ever understand. And, we follow their direction, and they were able to figure out, it's much more important to start with public health than to actually look for healthcare. So, there's so many stories. But again, I think just to look at them collectively, they're highly motivated, they're intelligent, they're capable of carrying out these projects, whether they're toilets or building medical clinics or schools or earthquake relief. It's just that it's a very poor country and they lack resources. And just with a little bit of help, it's amazing what they're able to do with very modest resources.
A little bit goes a long way. You always love to hear about stories like this. Dr. Kaiden, thank you so much for joining with us today on The Splash. One more quick question before I let you go, though. What lessons have you learned personally from your experiences with D2N that might inspire others to get involved with more humanitarian work?
Oh, it's just such an individual thing. I think, probably the biggest lesson I've learned is just how to learn how to listen again. I'm a cancer surgeon, so I spend all day talking to patients, all day giving advice, all day teaching medical students or residents. So I'm a really good talker and probably was not a very good listener. So starting the foundation and working with the foundation, I've had to relearn how to listen so I could listen to learn. So, that's probably the biggest lesson I've learned, just because of my, particular circumstances. But it is so important that we don't be arrogant when we have ideas of philanthropy, and don't think that because we're in a very wealthy country and we've had the luxury of high education and a lot of material wealth and a lot of amazing experiences, we can't be arrogant to think that we know what's best for other people. So again, just to sit and learn and just to learn to listen again so they can teach us what they need and how to do it. And it's very humbling.
Learn to listen again. A powerful message for everybody to remember. Dr. Kaiden, thank you so much for joining us today on The Splash Live, and thank you so much for everything that you do.
My pleasure.
So much impactful work that's being done overseas that has connections right here to Greater West Bloomfield. So big thank you to Dr. Kaiden for taking the time to talk with us here on The Splash Live and to hear all about the Detroit to Nepal Foundation. As we said at the top of the show, spring is in the air here in Greater West Bloomfield, which means it's time for everybody to start getting outside again and to be enjoying nature. But West Bloomfield Parks has been providing opportunities for everyone in the community to enjoy nature all year long with their West Bloomfield Parks Discovery Days. Our very own Kevin McIntosh has the story.
Here in West Bloomfield, the Nature Explorer Discovery Days are inviting families to step into the wonders of the natural world. From live reptiles to outdoor play, it's all about learning, exploring, and having fun. Let's take a closer look at what makes this program a local favorite.
It was listed as one of the activities online when you look what to do with toddlers, and it was open all day, so we decided to come between naps.
Nature Explorers Discovery Days, hosted by West Bloomfield Parks, offers families a chance to immerse themselves in Michigan's natural beauty. The self-guided program features live reptiles and amphibians, hands-on crafts, and so much more.
So we have this lovely nature room space and an outdoor natural play area. We wanted to make sure that the community had an opportunity to check out these areas that are available to them every week. So that's why we adapted our open hours into Discovery Days, so that way it would be open more frequently.
Discovery Days offers a unique way for families to connect with nature. We heard from a patron whose little one is especially fascinated by one of the attractions.
So far it's the birds. I think she just likes touching them too, especially, but just all of it, to be honest. She's interactive with the puzzles and very fascinated by the turtle as well.
Children and families can explore at their own pace, whether they're crafting, observing live animals, or discovering the wonders of the natural play area. It's an experience that's both fun and educational, inspiring curiosity and fostering a connection with the environment.
It gives everyone an opportunity to actually see one another, because not every time in the winter you don't get to really see everyone. So rooms like this offer an opportunity for the community to get together and to learn a little bit about nature while having fun.
This free program runs on Wednesdays, making it accessible for all families in Greater West Bloomfield. Visitors say it's a wonderful opportunity to bond, learn, and appreciate the beauty of nature together.
I think it's really cool. I did not know we had half of these animals, to be honest. Yeah, I like that they have different types of crafts and it's interactive for children, and I think it's kind of cool for my age as well.
From exploring live animals to hands-on crafts, the Nature Explorers Discovery Days has something for everyone. It's a chance to connect with nature and each other right here in our own backyard. From WB Parks, I'm Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV.
Big thank you to Kevin for going out and getting that story and for showcasing just how much we can enjoy nature all year round. Even when the snow is barreling down outside, we can still have these opportunities to enjoy nature. But that's going to do it for us today here on The Splash Live. Big thank you to all of our guests and our crew here on The Splash. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.